Tonight, families and friends prepare to reunite as South Australia opens its borders tonight, while new COVID cases appear in New South Wales far west.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. In just a matter of hours, South Australia's border ban will come to an end, loved ones able to reunite for the first time in 5 months. While Broken Hill regains access to its nearest capital, it's an uneasy time as SA becomes the first state to potentially let COVID in.
Stranded residents and separated families. For much of the last 2 years, SA's hard border has kept COVID out of the community, but at a cost. More than 15,000 people have already registered to enter the state when the hard border comes down at 1 minute past midnight.
I appreciate that there can be still some anxiety out there in the community, but what I can assure people is that we've taken every single precaution. We continue to listen to the very strong health advice.
SAPOL's cross-border permits now gone. Anyone wanting to enter the state must be fully vaccinated and use Entry Check SA to do so. Quarantine requirements only apply to those coming from an area with community transmission and a vaccination rate of less than 80%. Currently, for Broken Hill residents, there's no testing and no isolation needed, and border bubble approvals last 3 months. But after 2 years battling borders, it may take some time for locals to forgive.
We're human beings, we're decent people, we've done everything right and we were treated like criminals.
As recently as last week, Rebecca McInnes claims she was escorted by police to hospital after being flown to Adelaide for urgent surgery. She says she wasn't allowed to leave her hospital room and was initially denied access to a toilet because she came from Broken Hill. SA Health has apologised for the distress and says it's reviewed its COVID protocols.
I'm actually scared to go there in what is going to happen. So I've got to rebuild my trust back with them.
Trust that borders, once open, remain so. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And COVID continues to rear its head in the bordering region, with 5 new cases since Friday. 4 of those were in Menindee, and there was a single further case in Broken Hill. All are either household or close contacts and already in isolation. 2 venues of concern have been identified in Broken Hill. Under new exposure site rules, anyone present at the time should monitor for symptoms and get tested should any appear. The local health district is also reminding those who have recovered from COVID-19 to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas was in Port Pirie today to meet with the Shadow Cabinet, talking openly about the resignation of Deputy Premier Vicky Chapman, who stepped down this morning following an investigation into her alleged conflict of interest.
Stephen Marshall should have acted the moment that the conflict of interest became clear. Stephen Marshall should have acted a long time ago. He's been dragged kicking and screaming to this moment in time.
In a statement, Premier Stephen Marshall says he reluctantly accepts the resignation of his Deputy Premier. The Ombudsman is yet to make a decision. The South Australian Labor leader has also visited Port Augusta to meet with local organisations and community groups. In the lead up to the state election, Peter Malinauskas says he's listening to problems while promising a new skill development program for the region.
Port Augusta residents seeing what a Labor government could bring to the table. The state party leader and his shadow cabinet travelling to the city for a town hall style meeting.
Some powerful advocacy about what the people of Port Augusta's ambition is for their town, certainly following the next state election.
The cabinet answering questions on GP shortages, potential recycling centres and business support in the region.
Big issues that always seem to arise whenever I come to any of the forums in and around this seat relate to health and jobs. Certainly that's something that the Labor Party has committed to.
Jobs at the forefront of Labor's election promises, with a new $35 million technical college announced for the city last night.
And today I can announce that of those 5 new trade schools, 1 will be located right here in Port Augusta.
The college would be constructed at Port Augusta Secondary School and include the latest equipment to ensure students are being properly prepared for modern trades.
I wanted to make sure we are giving young people in our regional communities the opportunity to have all the skills that are necessary to have a prosperous and meaningful career.
If the Labor Party wins the upcoming state election, the party says the technical college would be up and running in time for the 2026 school year. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Plans for Port Lincoln's desalination plant have been put on hold after strong opposition to the proposed site. A large group gathered at a community information session on the weekend, with a number of vessels participating in a flotilla in Boston Bay.
A decision that may have ramifications for the Lower Eyre Peninsula. The state government making the call to postpone the region's desalination plant for 12 months.
We are really pleased that the government has listened to us. We encourage SA Water to listen to us as well.
The move coming after significant industry and community kickback. However, many still recognise the importance of a desalination plant in the region.
However, of course, we're still all very anxious about actually getting on with the job of building a desal plant over here to address our critical water need.
The Hands Off Boston Bay group hosting a community information session on Saturday. More than 300 people attending, some asking the government to draw a line through the Billy Lights Point site.
That's just the sort of commitment that people are after. It's a sensitive area, and we'd rather have a much longer term plan for a desal plant on Eyre Peninsula.
The Environment and Water Minister confident a solution can be reached.
Desalination is needed. We know that water security will only really be nailed down properly with a desalination plant servicing the Eyre Peninsula.
While not ruling any of the proposed locations in or out.
I won't be ruling in and out any side. When I met with many stakeholders last week and when I was in the Eyre Peninsula, they didn't say to rule out Billy Lights Point.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, pre-poll for Broken Hill's election opens to early voters. And a Spencer Gulf spot wins South Australia's Ag Town of the Year. See you again shortly. Welcome back. A man was arrested in Port Lincoln after allegedly carrying a knife in public. Police located the man on the Lincoln Highway and followed him to Normandy Place, where he allegedly became aggressive towards police. The 20-year-old Port Lincoln man was arrested and charged with carrying a visible weapon in a public place, resisting arrest and theft. He's been bailed to appear in court on January 18. The first votes have been placed in Broken Hill's local election, with pre-poll opening today. Locals will be choosing both a new mayor and 9 new councillors to sit in the chambers. Early votes can be placed at Westside Plaza during office hours every day except Sunday. Masks and QR check-ins are required and voting is compulsory. The official polling day is December 4th. The Port Augusta community may notice a number of new construction projects beginning at the Joy-Baloo Bridge duplication. Residents are advised building the new walkway ramps and bridge entrances may cause slight delays.
Headaches potentially on the way for Port Augusta motorists. Traffic temporarily reducing to 1 lane in each direction while work is done on a new site at the Joy-Baloo Bridge duplication.
Look, there will be some speed restrictions and some issues creating traffic problems as they do the upgrades, and there's a bit of night work, so I just encourage people to be patient, take a breath, understand that will be occurring.
From 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. starting tonight, a section of the Augusta Highway between the Joy-Baloo Bridge and Flinders Terrace, seeing new pavement installed and line marking completed.
Just be safe and remember those people that are doing the work are trying to make our bridge get developed and completed and make it safe.
Along with the night works, new construction beginning on the northeast side of the bridge, with structural supports for a pedestrian walkway installed.
So what people will notice, there are some new pylons that have been driven into the ground. That's for the walkway on the north side. So that'll be separate to the bridge, so there'll be access for pedestrians, mopeds and push bikes.
This construction project is aiming to allow better connectivity between the east and west foreshore once the bridge is complete. The new walkway also replacing the current, much steeper solution for accessing the top of the bridge. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Wyler's Reptile Park is closed to the public due to a downturn caused by the pandemic. According to council, restrictions on travel have had a significant impact on the ongoing viability of the business. In addition, a substantial investment in infrastructure and repairs is required for the park to continue operations.
It became apparent during those conversations that the investment that was required was going to be challenging, particularly given the current economic conditions and the impact of COVID.
Rehoming the animals is expected to be completed early in the new year. More than $1 million will be spent building short-stay accommodation in national parks near Broken Hill. The state government investing around $1.4 million on projects in Kinchika and Paru-Darling National Parks. New South Wales Environment Minister Matt Keane saying there was more than 60 million annual visits to national parks before COVID, and that number has skyrocketed since the pandemic began. An Eyre Peninsula farming community has been awarded the state's top agricultural prize for towns at an event in Adelaide last week. The town of KIMBA was recognised for its place and importance in South Australia's vast agricultural industry.
It's an accolade a whole town can be proud of. The Eyre Peninsula farming spot, KIMBA, named South Australia's Ag Town of the Year in a regional showcase event last week in Adelaide.
We're all really excited. There's a real buzz about the town. Everyone's just so happy that we've managed to take out such a prestigious award.
The award recognising towns that demonstrate excellence in agriculture, encouraging growth in primary industry and fostering leadership in the sector. Mayor Dean Johnson is very proud of the news that his town has received this top accolade.
But it was really the passion of our people that shone through. We've got such a high volunteer rate in KIMBA and so many different programs.
In a statement, Primary Industries Minister David Basham says he was blown away by the town's community spirit, located northwest of Whyalla. He also noted KIMBA's rich agricultural history and being at the forefront of the state's dry land sector. A community celebration of the award now in the planning stages.
That's the next thing on our block, is to plan a real community event and a celebration in naming the award.
The minister says South Australia's agribusiness and primary industry sector generated more than $14 billion in revenue between 2019 and 2020. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Whyalla Citizen of the Year urges locals to nominate a new winner. And Lifeline begins its appeal to collect toys for Broken Hill children who might go without this Christmas. Hello again. Whyalla's reigning Citizen of the Year is encouraging the community to go out and nominate someone who they think represents the city. Keith Stichler was given the award for his contribution in many volunteer groups.
Reflecting on an award validating his major contributions to the community. Whyalla Rotary Club President Keith Stichler looking back on his reaction when he was told he was nominated for the city's top prize for citizens.
Some bright spark suggested that they nominate me. I thought that was a bit of a laugh, and I laughed. Everybody else laughed, and I presumed that would probably be the end of it.
Little did he know he'd end up named Citizen of the Year. He's now asking residents and community organisations to pick a person they believe upholds the qualities of citizenship for the city, including contributions in volunteering, sports clubs, fundraising and charity works.
Well, that was a particularly humbling experience, because having regard for all of the people that had been awarded this in the past.
The awards are announced each year during Australia Day celebrations in Whyalla, with categories also available for Senior Citizen of the Year, Youth Citizen and Community Event of the Year.
It's a quite easy process. There's a nomination form on the council website, so please download that.
Nominations close on December 17. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The festive season is a time for giving, but that can be difficult for those doing it tough. Lifeline Broken Hill today launching its Christmas toy program, helping to make sure every child will have something under the tree to unwrap.
Dinosaurs, dolls, diggers and everything in between. This stash of brand new toys bringing hope to families at Christmas.
The reason I do this is that I would hate to think any child would wake up in the morning and think Santa hasn't visited them.
Lifeline estimates without toy programs like this one, around 600 children in the Far West could wake up with no presents on Christmas Day. Lifeline already seeing an increased demand due to the pandemic.
It's really great and it makes you feel good, but they'll all go. It will just be, this is the start of what we're going to use.
And as impressive as this collection is, they're all donated items left over from last year's drive. But more gifts will still be needed. Locals can add to the collection, dropping toys off at Lifeline's Argent Street office.
They have to be brand new. We cannot take second-hand toys for health purposes, and don't wrap them.
Those looking to receive gifts will need to provide evidence of a healthcare card and attend a registration session next Tuesday.
We'd like to know that there's not a child miss out. So if somebody comes in and puts their name down, hell or high water, we will find a way to give them a toy and give them a new toy and make them happy.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have all the results from weekend cricket matches. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. I'll be back with more soon. Welcome back. Once again, wet weather caused chaos for many of the region's cricketers on the weekend, with Port Lincoln the only city to play the fixture. Our reporter Dylan Smith has this week's cricket wrap.
In a rematch of this year's T20 final, Charlton were too strong again for Tasmans, handing them their first loss of the season. Tasmans batted first at Ravendale Oval on the weekend, hoping to extend their unbeaten run. It didn't start well for the Roosters, losing their first wicket in the first over after James Fuss dismissed Bodie Forza for a duck. Jack Bunder was Fuss's next victim when he was caught at point for 6, Tasman stumbling to 9 for 132 after their 45 overs. In reply, Charlton's Connor Madden made a runnable 69 to help guide his team to a comfortable 6-wicket win. In the other match, Southern Air were far too strong for waybacks. SES bowling the visitors out for 97, with the home side chasing it down in the 21st over. Ben Smith making 59, while Ryan Siebert scored 33 not out. Over in Tumby Bay, and the Rovers had a strong win against Lipson. Lipson made 151 off 49 overs, with the Rovers chasing their total down in the 42nd over. Sam Bowen was the star, scoring 80 not out. While the Colts smashed the Ramblers, bowling them out for 58. The Colts chased down the runs, winning by 8 wickets. In the Eastern Air Cricket Association, KIMBA were too strong for Buckleboo in a low-scoring match. The visitors bowling the home side out for 94, chasing the total down with 4 wickets in hand. Up in Broken Hill, West defeated South by 24 runs, while North had a big win over Central, cruising to an 8-wicket victory. And in the final match, West made it 2 wins for the weekend, comfortably accounting for Warriors by 8 wickets. Finally, in Port Augusta, it was a low-scoring affair between South and Sing 11. Sing 11 managed to dismiss South for just 90. However, South's bowlers did the job, bowling Sing out for just 88. That's all for cricket this week. We'll be back tomorrow night with the rest of the region's sport.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. Happy Monday, everyone. And what a beautiful start to the week it was, with sunny conditions right across the region. But don't put that umbrella or rain jacket away just yet, because those wet conditions are expected to return over the next couple of days. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was a balmy 28 today, Whyalla was 26, and Port Lincoln was partly cloudy and 20 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Cooper Pedy top 29, Broken Hill was mostly sunny and 26, Port Pirie was a high of 28. Our friends in Adelaide got to a top of 21. Woodner, Kadina and Cleve all were 27, and Clare was 24. Taking a look at the satellite image now, patchy cloud is beginning to move into western parts of South Australia ahead of a trough, but is not bringing any rain. Patchy low cloud over the far southeast in onshore winds is also not causing any rain. Skies are clear elsewhere under high pressure ridge. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Quite a calm day forecast. Easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 1 metre. And a short time ago, there were no warnings for South Australia. And the rains are back tomorrow. Port Lincoln a shower or 2 and a high of 22 degrees. Similar conditions for Cleve and Woodner, both set to reach a high of 24 degrees. While a shower or 2 and 25, Port Augusta set to reach 26 degrees, and Kadina will reach a high of 25. Port Pirie shower or 2 and 27, Clare to top 23, and Broken Hill will have a possible possible shower there and reach a high of 26. Taking a look further through the week now, another wet day on Wednesday, except for in Port Lincoln where it's set to be cloudy. A max of 22 for Cooper Pedy, Adelaide and Kadina all 25, mid-20s across the rest of the region also. Similar conditions in store for Thursday, partly cloudy and 26 for Cooper Pedy, Woodna also partly cloudy and 23 degrees, cloudy for Port Lincoln and Adelaide, rain everywhere else. But conditions are set to clear up on Friday, which is good news for us. Cooper Pedy is set to be 26, Broken Hill and Woodna will be 21, Kadina, Adelaide and Port Augusta 20, cloudy for Port Lincoln and 18 degrees. Well, hopefully with conditions clearing by Friday, that's a sign of good things to come for the weekend. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. Ruby, it's back to you.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow with more local news. Good night.